Hello. Great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way. It's pretty strongly is I feel a lot of things related to family and children, okay? Especially children. So, and this is the first message that came out. It's going to be a little bit negative, and it's obviously not going to apply to everyone, but I feel like a lot of you are dealing with custody issues regarding children. A lot of you are dealing or with or have are in the midst of or are dealing with somebody who might have this issue pertaining, like neglect of children. And I feel like there's some type of a court mandate, like somebody has to go to court. Somebody is either indicted for, some like child neglect or abandonment or some things like that. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling. And I do sense like if this is something that you're dealing with, I don't feel it's going to end well. If this is something, for example, if you have children and there might have been cases of neglect, of course, I feel like it's just not going to end very well. And there's some money that needs to be paid out regarding custody issues. I feel like for most of you, if you are taking over as the primary provider for the children, there's money coming to you from that other person, the person that you have children with. Be aware of unexpected visits. I feel like if you're, dealing with this issue, I feel unexpected visits coming in for the next 2 months. I'm sorry, 2 weeks. Well, actually 2 months, because it says here from, I feel like resolved. And when I say like unexpected visits, I feel like people knocking at your door, uh, possibly the ex trying to pick up the children, or court personnel, so that could be a social worker. For some of you, I feel like even people that are mandated by the court to check up on you and to assess the well-being of the children. So I definitely feel that coming through. And the information is echoed across so many cards. I only pull out 10 cards, and it's like in 5 of them. So I just want you to know that, be very, very diligent about taking care of this issue and about, portraying yourself in the best light, because I feel like this is a serious matter that's happening, okay? For others of you, I definitely see legal disputes between two people, and I feel like the people might have been romantically involved with each other at one point, so I feel like some splitting up. But I feel like caught in the middle is a very, very young, vulnerable child. So it just I don't like to see this between people, but I definitely feel like, there is a karmic tie that is being broken up for good for this month. And I feel like there are financial linkages between you and another person. So it's basically saying here, if there is a karmic tie, and all you have that's tying you both together is like the financial situation. I definitely feel that right now you're ready to move on, and I feel like the other person. I feel like you're trying to protect your child. I feel like somebody's trying to protect their offspring, and then the other person that you're dealing with is very charming. It's like strikingly charming, but they're a little bit sneaky. I feel it's almost like, in the midst of this custody issue, both parents are trying to play on the heartstrings of the child, trying to get the upper hand, and their karma is being, passed down to the child via making the child choose. So I'm just not getting a good vibe about this. And like I said, obviously, this is not going to apply to everyone, but I feel like you guys have probably. I was hoping that the energy would alleviate like it did for Sagittarius, but I feel like this is an ongoing issue, and I don't sense it going away. Until what I'm sensing is, I feel like a lot of you are. I see you like looking, sitting on this chair, and you're watching the sunset. And the sunset denotes to me like a major phase of your life is coming to an end, okay? And I feel like you're looking at the sunset, and you're kind of at a point where there's a lot of serenity and peace around you. It's like you're mourning the past. So I feel like you've no choice. You have to let it go, and it wasn't completely good for you. So you're at a point where you are actually releasing it and letting it go, and you're mourning everything that has happened in the past. And I feel like a lot of you have been very sad, very feeling isolated, feeling very alone, very sad. And but you're letting it go. So I feel like this overwhelming sense of acceptance, accepting the things that we can't change, the things that are outside of our control. And then on the other side of the coin is, embracing the things that we can change, no longer playing the victim, feeling empowered and strong, and feeling riled up so that you can make a difference in your life, so that you can move forward with all the lessons that you've been dealt in the past. Okay, so there's this overwhelming sense of calmness, acceptance, grace about you, and I feel like you will be okay. Financially, I'm sensing that a lot of you are like doing some bookkeeping, some budgeting in order to find ways to, to plan out your life financially for the next 12 months or the next year. And that's a great thing. And I feel like your sole focus right now is on, how to stretch yourself financially, how to make your money work for you. So it's a really positive, I feel like, overall you're taking charge of your life, you're gaining back control, and you're being very practical and very systematic about it. um, what I'm sensing as well is a lot of you, I feel like there might be some reliance on social services, like, from the public sector, private sector. I feel like looking at, these social services, and maybe helping, relying on them, or asking them for help in terms of, like, helping you land a job, helping you get back on your feet, helping you with something. And I do feel there's a lot of opportunities out there, and it's saying that you have a lot of helpers around you, so don't worry and don't stress over it. Okay, everything will be fine. And financially, I feel that a lot of you are getting yourselves back on your feet. The financial situation is not looking too great, but it will improve, and I do feel it improving quickly. What I'm also feeling is, for those of you who are dealing with an air sign, okay? An air sign is an Aquarius, a Gemini, and a Libra. I feel like there is some arguments that might have happened in the past. So if you're trying to re-engage with this person, to have some type of, I feel like there might have been some arguments in the past, very recent past. If you're trying to re-engage with this person, to have some type of reconciliation, to have some type of communication, I don't feel it's going to come in the manner that you'd like, and I feel them kind of turning their back. I feel them turning a little bit cold and frozen, and you might call them and get, voicemail, directly to voicemail. You might text them and not get anything back, and you feel like, oh, did that text message go through? I do feel it did, but I feel them kind of stealing up, okay? And this energy can flow both ways. If you're dealing with an air sign as well, you might be the one doing this to them, but I definitely feel an end to some type of communication. What I'm also feeling as well is, be careful about where you're living. Be careful about, leaving the house, not locking the door, and things like that, especially if you don't live in the safest neighborhood. But crime happens everywhere. And I'm feeling like crime of opportunity. So be very careful about, locking up. things, not leaving your personal belongings and especially valuables unattended. I'm also feeling like, let me see here. I'm also feeling like a lot of you are trying to like, I feel like a lot of you have some assets and you're trying to liquidate. You're trying to just like, oh, I just want to get rid of it. I don't want to deal with the maintenance. I don't want to deal with, the upkeep. And this is, this property or this asset is um, restricting my mobility. So I can't really move where I want to go because this thing, I have to take care of it. So I feel like you're liquidating some assets. You could potentially be selling a car. I see like you taking out things that are quite valuable in your home environment, and you realize that there's no need for it anymore. So you might have a yard sale. You might put them up online like eBay, auction them off. I feel you getting rid of some antique, some valuable things, and you're downsizing, which is great because, after major events, it's always good to declutter our space, our environment, our house, and just, every once in a while. And I always recommend people do this like, twice a year. Go through your house, go through your stuff, go through your all your belongings, and whatever you haven't really touched in like the past 3 months, try to get rid of it. And especially if you live in a more colder climate, obviously you're going to need some. You feel like you don't really need it, and you hang on to it because you think like, oh, one day I'm gonna need it. And we all do that, but that's not always the case. So it's really important for you, I feel, to declutter your environment so that you're not inundated with a lot of stuff, because I feel like new energy is trying to come through for you. So once you declutter that space, you're going to feel a lot better. You're going to, it's a good mourning process too. So if you're getting rid of like things from an ex, cleaning out the space, getting rid of all the belongings, getting rid of all the junk, and getting rid of things that are no longer necessary in your life, it's a very therapeutic process. And I feel like that's what you really need right now. Okay. So for some of you that are dealing with this. For others of you who, I feel like the financial spectrum is very, extreme. So somebody might be struggling, and then others of you who are not struggling, it's like immense financial wealth. So I feel like there's very little in between. It's, extreme ends of the spectrum. So I feel like a lot of help, a lot of financial resources will come in from family. And I also feel like a lot of others of you are really, really, you're on your A game right now financially. And I feel like you might even purchase new property. You might think about, selling what you have now, moving, like upgrading to a bigger space. I feel children coming into the picture for those of you if you are expecting. So I feel like parents becoming grandparents. I feel like a change in status, mainly because more people are being brought into the household. I don't get things here that indicate marriage, but I get more childbirth, a lot of child situations. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of children stuff, and one of the things is that legal issues regarding naming of children. I'm also feeling like consulting, consulting a nutritionist for some needs regarding infant nutrition. So I definitely feel pregnancy and children heavily in this spread as well. If you are dealing with an earth sign, I feel for a lot of you, there is an earth sign showing up here. Somebody who's very caring, but they are very detached. Okay, so they're like, they're there if you need them, if you absolutely need them. They're definitely there. But I feel like they need a lot of space. So this is an earth sign: Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. They're very nurturing, very caring, just very reliable, and a really, really good person. But I feel like they have had some issues in the past with people using them, or taking advantage of them. So they have really, really put up their walls, and they're drawing very clear boundaries. So I feel like they like to be alone. They like to have their own space, and it's a little bit it's going to take some time to establish that emotional connection. But I do feel this person is very solid. They come with a lot of abundance, okay? A lot of wisdom as well, a lot of financial abundance and stability. And I feel like they're going to help stabilize your emotional state. They're going to help you no matter what. I feel like they're very cold and distant, but they will be there for you. So I feel like, you know, and this is just, something like a general, I guess, like descriptor. So a lot of the times, people stay in unhealthy situations, in situations that are tolerable but not great, or even in bad situations. And a lot of the times it's easy to stay. It's not easy emotionally or even in the long scheme of, in the, the bigger picture, but it's relatively easy because it's stable. It's something that we know, okay? And I feel like for a lot of you, you might have stayed in a toxic environment, and you are afraid of, I feel like, honestly, afraid of being on your own, afraid of having to make that next step and make that decision on your own, the next phase on your own. And because of it, you feel like you've given your power away. You've given away your human agency, your free will. And that space of comfort, it's soothing, mainly because you know what each day brings. It's predictable, even though it might not be great. At least it's predictable. It's like the devil that you know, and you didn't fully exercise your free will. And I feel like this is the month in which a lot of things are being brought to light, so that you can honestly assess your situation almost from like an outsider's perspective, so that you can do something about it, so that you don't give your power away, okay? So I feel like what's really scary, and what's I feel coming up in the spread, is that it's like you've gotten out of a really tough environment, and a lot of you are like, what do I do now? What do I do now? Well, if you're really struggling with that answer, I feel like you can reach out to other people to help you. Or I feel like you should sit alone for a minute and really think about, what kind of a life do I really want? What is my next step? What do I need to do? Just, generally get a grip of that general idea of what you want to do. And I feel like once you can honestly hone in and zoom in on that one idea. So for example, you just graduated college, your lease is ending, you don't have a car, and you're trying to find work, and you're just like really frazzled and nervous and scared. Like, what do I do now? Well, just look at the big picture, okay? Like, look at the big picture of what you want to do, and then really focus in on it. Like, visualize it, focus on it. And I feel like it's going to help you manifest it. So leave all those other worries aside. The worries are valid, but they can hinder your ability to see the big picture. I hope that makes sense. So focus on the big picture to get where you need to be. Focus on the big picture. Don't be inundated and distracted by all these little things. The little things are there to as like scare tactics. They're there as a hindrance. They're there to remind you these are the things that that you have to do to take care of yourself, to maintain yourself, and to stay afloat. But don't lose sight of that big picture, because I feel like that's what you might be bogged down with all these little things, and you're losing sight of the big picture, the end goal, okay? So focus on that. Focus on the end goal. And in the meantime, go through the motions one day at a time. That way, you're not inundated with too much excess worries, stress, and, just a lot of self defeating talk that's really going to detract you from your long term goal. Okay, Pisces? Um, I feel like, yeah, I'm sorry, the reading's a little bit rough, but I do sense that things will get better. And it says here in about 3 months' time, there's going to be a change around for the better, okay? I feel like the main thing that to get out of this reading here is a major phase of your life has ended. And I feel that, this is coming from a place of tough love. But I feel like that sense of naivety is ending, or it has to be cast aside. It has to be brought to light so that you're not entering the next phase of your life starry eyed and carefree, and then the same thing happens again. So I feel like this is an important lesson. It's an important karmic lesson so that you can grow, so that you can expand, so that you can be on your own and reclaim your power. Okay, so I feel a lot of movement is happening for you guys, but I feel like in 3 months time I don't feel movement happening for this month. Okay, so just hang in there, Pisces. So obviously this message is not going to apply to everyone, and I feel like it's a very directed message, so somebody needs to hear it. So if you're going through all of this